Hi all, welcome back to another Daytona Office Hours. Uh, I just spent 5 minutes talking to the screen without sharing my screen at all, so that's always a fun time. Anyway, let's go over the commits in the last couple of days, in the last week actually. In general, we had a bunch of small fixes, a good number of PRs, but in general, not too many breaking changes, although there are a couple improvements that you are going to feel on the visual side, as well as a couple docs updates. So let's jump right in. Firstly, we have a PR for updating a small fix for the dashboard when changing your tiers. This is just regarding a business email to make sure that it's properly populated. We had a small PR. This was a quick merge for some wrong links in the docs. We have a PR that helps mostly local development. So on our Daytona Cloud deployment, we have a runner score, which is an availability score. Essentially lets you know whether we can put a new sandbox onto the existing runner or not. It's calculated out of the CPU, memory, and disk. But in the local development, the runner is run also locally, and you might be running some workloads outside of Daytona, have your CPU at a high number, or even more frequently, your disk at a high number, which is going to make the availability score go down. So our default score of it was 60 out of 100 would make it so you get a no available runners error, even though that doesn't really make much sense in a local setup. So it's been set up down to 10. So most of the time you're going to be able to run sandboxes locally unless your machine is under a high amount of stress. Next up, a small custom recovery for Go errors in our proxy, our runner, our daemon. The message is quite self-explanatory, just a better handler to handle unexpected panics during execution. So that's quite useful. A couple small fixes. There's the docs update. You can check this one out. We spoke about LangChain data analysis example. So this was just Mr.'s way of fixing a couple of the steps to make sure everything runs smoothly when you're running it on your end. This was another fix which would allow you to use shared regions when setting the org default region. Essentially, just the pop-up in the UI for selecting a region when creating a new organization was bad. So it used non-shared regions as well as shared regions. So that's a quick fix for that. Where was I? Yes, this was Fabo. We had a upgrade to our guides part of the docs. So another bunch of code examples, Daytona integrations. We've noticed that a lot of people kind of feel the need for Daytona, but are not sure exactly how to incorporate it into their product. So we've been working on these code examples. So these should be quite helpful. We had a small bug in our proxy. Essentially, if your application that you are previewing through the preview URL feature needed an authorization token, we would try to validate that token inside of our own service. So it would fail most of the time, I mean, all the time. So that made it seem so as if your token was invalid or something, but in reality, your application was just getting the wrong information and then failing with a 401, even though that shouldn't happen. So we made a quick fix there. So that is quite nice. He made another fix regarding concurrent write onto the WebSocket connections, where there was a race condition that was causing some errors when two places at once would try to write into the WebSocket. So that was fixed. A small graceful shutdown fix that would make sure that the proxy doesn't kill any connections inadvertently when reloading or scaling or stuff like that. So that's nice. We also added a small feature for moving runners that are at a high availability score, which was previously mentioned. So if the runner is at a low score, for example, I believe it's set at 3 out of 100, it doesn't really make much sense to start it up on that runner. So we just migrate it automatically to another runner to ensure proper behavior. There's a couple things to to have in mind. So that's, for example, the backup state has to be completed. Otherwise, we are going to still try to start a sandbox on the weak runner. But if it has a backup, we just move it to another one, which is most of the time a much better score. This is quite a big PR. There's quite a bit of discussion here. So we've noticed that we had quite a bit of poor UX/poor understanding of the concept of our snapshot/entry point combination. And this PR makes it so that it is no longer necessary to set your entry point to a long-running command such as sleep infinity or tailing to dev null. This way, you will be able to set any entry point or any init script you need as the entry point in the snapshot creation. And our daemon is going to be the one that is the actual entry point of the sandbox, which makes it so that it's always long living and you don't have to worry about it dying at some point. And also the daemon is going to have higher privileges, so it won't be killed by your agent that could be executing some random code inside of the sandbox. So this is just a nice thing to ensure the reliability of the entry point and of the sandbox itself. So that was probably the biggest feature here, and it's led to quite a good decrease in the number of errors because there is no longer a chance for your agent to inadvertently kill the daemon. Small fix regarding node. This is trying to remember what this is about. Oh, right, yeah. So when we were auto deleting, we had actually a customer report this one. When we were auto deleting sandboxes, we wouldn't clear up the name property of the sandbox, which would make it so you're not able to reuse it, while in reality you should be able to reuse it. So we just made a small fix there. Setting a correct entry point on restore. This is just a small fix regarding a previous PR. And edge case on sandbox restore. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. So this is an edge case regarding the deployment as well, where we would need to handle the actual entry point during this transition period of moving to the daemon entry point instead of the existing one. And there's a small tweak in automatic lifecycle numbers. This is going to help you actually make your sandbox auto stop quicker or auto archive quicker. Not really changing the number you set, but just reacting quicker to the expiry, for example, 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever else you set. So another small chore that is not really that important. Pull requests. There's quite a bit. This is just in the last 2 weeks. We closed a bunch, but opened a bunch as well. We are working on quite a big branch, which I'm not going to go actually into detail here, but it's related to using your own compute, your own regions when deploying Daytona. So it will let you use runners in our cloud, as well as help your self-hosted deployments use different regions and runners, and actually use those regions to group the runners and then add proxy there, SSH gateway and stuff like that. So that's quite nice. Some small docs updates, and we are actually getting rid of the snapshot validation step. Now that the entry point is always not running, as I said, the daemon is going to be hopefully not crashing at all, which would usually end up in a container exited error before. Now it's not going to happen, so the validation step is obsolete, and this also makes the entire snapshot creation process much quicker. Another small pull requests are pending. We have a couple issues as well, so please, any feature requests, any errors you run into, please report them there, and we will get to them as soon as possible. And I believe that's it for this week. So thank you for listening. Hope you had a nice time, and see you next week. Bye-bye.